Santa came!
Yeah, he did, but it's not as nice as you think. Look, he left a letter, and basically Santa's saying, "Dear Chris and Jordan, we're on the naughty list. We know why." I don't know. I've been an angel.
Oh, I know why.
Oh, well, thanks a lot. So he says, in lieu of coal, I've given you something even worse to teach you a Christmas lesson. Basically, he's given us this substandard photo gear. I don't know. It's off of like Wish.com. I don't know. I don't think he even had his elves make it. Anyways, he's saying that if we want to get back on the nice list, we have to review this stuff properly and learn our lesson. And Santa's being a f***ball. Hey guys, I want to tell you about a feature that's available to audio subscribers that have a pro level subscription account, and it's called Link Match AI. So audio is actually one of the first major music licensing companies to incorporate core AI features into their software. So how Link Match AI works is this. You basically find your favorite music, whether it be on Spotify or YouTube or a TikTok video, something that you want to get the same kind of feel and sound of. You copy that URL, paste it into Link Match AI's powerful search engine, and then it will go through and find you music in the audio library that sounds similar, has a similar kind of feel. This saves you so much time having to search through a whole bunch of songs, just simplifies the whole process for you. But remember that Link Match AI only comes with an audio pro level subscription. So right now we've got a great deal through PetaPixel. Click the link in the description below and you will get 70% off an audio pro level account subscription. Get on it today and start your searches right away. Okay, so let's see what we're working with. I got a Lightdow 420 to 800 millimeter f8.3 to 16. At least it's a fast lens.
F16?
Yeah, the case is nice. So it says for all SLR cameras, but it looks like E-mount to me. So I'll put on A7R5. That's what Santa gave me last year when I was a good boy.
Let's see if this will resolve 60 megapixels.
Okay, what did you get?
Well, I guess I got to film you on this. It just says 4K camera. There's no branding. They're ashamed to put any kind of brand on this. It says the best scenery in memory.
Hey,
I don't know
that'd be nice.
What
I mean,
that means.
At least yours is digital.
The instruction manual just says digital camera instruction manual.
Okay.
Huh. 5mm f2.4.
Perfect.
So basically, I think we have a smartphone in a big camera body. Perfect.
Well, I hope it records audio.
Oh,
all right.
The brand is NBD. No big deal.
All right, let's just get this over with.
Maybe it's a great deal.
Welcome back, PetaPixel viewers. It is Chris Nichols here, and we are at PetaPixel Park. We're here to play with this piece of 420 millimeter to 800 millimeter lens. I'm skeptical if the results that I'm going to get will be sharper than 8-bit graphics, but let's get to it. So before we go any further, in case you haven't been able to tell already, Jordan is shooting on his no big deal 4K digital camera. It has no audio control, so he's recording separately onto a separate audio recorder. We're doing claps, you know, so we can sync our audio, just old school style. It's got, I believe, like a fixed 28 millimeter full frame equivalent. It's a tiny, tiny sensor, like a smartphone sensor, point and shoot garbage, but it does say 4K. For my lens here, I mean, this is pretty simple, right? I mean, it's just a push-pull zoom, f8.3 to f16, 420 to 800 millimeter equivalent, although I don't think it's actually f8.3. When I did my lens chart test, I would say there's probably like a stop of exposure difference from the 800 to the 420. I think it's more like f11 to f16. Everything on this thing unscrews. I mean, if I rotate here, it unscrews the T-mount. If I rotate here, this unscrews the actual zoom mechanism itself. And then if I manually focus, it will often unscrew my zoom anyways. So it's exciting, it's fun, it's very tactile. I do like the manual focus, that's quite smooth. Now, because this lens attaches with a T2 adapter, I could theoretically put it on a whole host of cameras, SLRs, mirrorless cameras, sky's the limit, super versatile. The lens collar, unfortunately, no cutouts for Arca Swiss style tripod. What the hell? Okay, so we're gonna do a little walk and talk test here, which will push the no big deal camera's limits when it comes to autofocusing and rolling shutter. So have a look out for that. I'm sure it looks beautiful. You know what doesn't look beautiful is on this lens, I actually get a ton of chromatic aberration, purple color fringing. You can see it all over the place here. I mean, it adds a festive color to everything, but it's sapping detail. I don't even know if I'm gonna get rid of it in post. I have no idea, but yeah, it's a serious issue. So maybe everything black and white today, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. All right, so I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I thought, why not put this lens through the test chart treatment as well, right? A review's a review. So let's take a look here at 420 millimeters. It is going to be wide open because there's no other apertures on this thing. So at supposedly 8.3, you know, if it was going to be somewhat sharp anywhere, I guess it would be the center here. It's okay, but it's not bad. Look at all that purple color Frenching, just gross. But the corners fall apart completely, which I mean, they look really soft and blurry. But let's now go to 800 millimeters. So you can see, of course, heavy vignetting in the corners, everything getting dark. Everything looks garbage. I mean, even the center here at f16, not sharp at all. I mean, we're getting diffraction, we're getting all sorts of, I have no idea. It's really rough, but I would absolutely try to shoot this at the 420 millimeter range as much as possible. Anytime you push further, it just gets worse and worse and worse. So I'm, again, really struggling. I mean, it's got this locking collar, which is supposed to lock the zoom and keep it, but when I manually focus it, it starts to unlock the zoom, and then it's not manually focusing, so this is definitely a two-hand job. I just want to oh my God.
My camera ran out of focus too. No?
Okay, it's coming off the T-mount adapter. I don't know, I need super glue to make this lens work. Oh, Jordan, what's the low light gonna look like in here? I'm sure it's exciting. You know, one thing I'm struggling with, it's cold out, and this ring, the manual focus, it was nice in my house where it's warm, but now the grease is getting all gummed up, and I can barely focus without unscrewing anything, and it's actually a really arduous process. So this is a fair weather lens for sure. So I'm trying to keep my shutter speed up faster, but of course with such a slow aperture in most cases, my ISO's cranked up. It's not a very bright day today, so that's a struggle. Not that I really should be worried about anything being like sharp or in focus anyways. One thing I will say though about this lens, on a positive note, the bokeh is actually quite beautiful. I mean, because we have no aperture, it's just a round barrel. You can see here, it's actually a beautiful round shape. No onion rings because there's no advanced glass here to create them at all. And actually the out of focus areas, like in this shot, I actually find quite pleasing. So, you know, for shallow depth of field, when you get it with such a telephoto lens, there's maybe some merit here as long as you're in that whole dreamy, soft, kind of yucky pudding yogurt kind of look. I'm not enjoying my job or my career right now. I'm rethinking, maybe I should start a cooking channel or something. So look, normally we would test flare on a lens like this, but we have no sun today. But you know, even shooting these Christmas ornaments here, and just with the Christmas lights, I'm seeing a major loss of contrast, and someone should be arrested for it, absolutely. Okay, so I'm not necessarily loving the experience of using this lens today, but I have an idea to elevate the experience by using some flash. Hopefully that will help. Let's try the next take portrait. Also remember, we still have to hear from Jordan and find out his experience using his amazing Christmas present. Maybe I've got a lens where the image quality is so questionable that I'd rather Santa just give me a piece of coal and I could do a, you know, charcoal drawing of Jordan. That would look really nice. But there are some situations where I can help to mitigate how bad this lens actually is. So first off, I've got the FJ200 and the Rapid Box Octa S from Westcott. And this is great because we can be out here in the middle of nowhere. I can't shoot inside with a 420 millimeter lens. My house isn't big enough. So this gives us the distance where I can focus properly, get a nice head and shoulder shot on Jordan, keep his eyes more central where this lens actually does give some detail. I gotta nail my focus, but honestly, you know, even if his face isn't quite as sharp because of the poor quality of this lens, for portraits that can actually be nice. Just give a bit of softness to the skin. Okay, so let's take a look at our shot here. You know what? I think it actually worked out okay. Those crazy corners be damned, they just fall off into the background really beautifully. I like the light that we got here, and I did eventually get the focus right on Jordan's eyes, as sharp as this lens can actually deliver. So, as you can see, even if your lens is absolute crap, lighting is everything. The Westcott FJ200 always does a great job out here just doing wireless flash, and so that is why they are PetaPixel's preferred lighting partner. Well, look, I wouldn't say that I really enjoyed any of the photos that I got, other than the one of Jordan. I do like that one. But you know, you see a lot of these lenses online under different names for $100, and somebody's obviously buying them, but I just don't think it's worth it. I mean, I think that $100 is better spent somewhere else. The fact of the matter is, 420 millimeters is kind of the only place this lens is even remotely usable, but what you're buying this for is the 500, the 600, the 800, and it's just gross there. I just don't recommend it. You know what I think Santa's lesson was? getting me this lens was really to realize that what we should be doing, rather than buy new stuff that's just going to go in the garbage, why not buy some used stuff? I mean, an older autofocusing Minolta 70-300 with an adapter, for example, on my Sony, or, you know, any used lens that you could put on whatever camera you happen to be using with an adapter, that's a cheap telephoto like that, you could probably get it for the same price and it'll be optically way better. Anyways, let's go down to Jordan and see how he's dealing with his amazing Christmas gift.
Okay, it's Jordan here to talk about my experience using the NBD 4K vlogging camera. Before I get started, I should apologize. I was just on my way to a costume party when I remembered that I still had to record this, so sorry about the antlers. But finding out any information about this camera was actually really difficult. All I could find was this AliExpress page, and looking at the specs, it listed this thing as an interchangeable lens full frame camera that also had a type 1/1.6 sensor. Nothing made any sense here. Starting with the handling on this, it looks like a tiny mirrorless camera, but it's just incredibly plasticky. And when I saw the bump on the top, I thought, oh, we might have an electronic viewfinder on this. But it's bizarre. It is actually an optical viewfinder, like looking through a tunnel. But what's interesting is it doesn't match the image that's being captured at all. It looks like it's like a 70mm lens, and when you see what you're actually recording, it is way, way wider than what that shows. So I wouldn't really consider this a camera with a viewfinder. I would consider it a camera with a hole in it. In terms of the screen that you can use to compose your image, it's bizarre. It looks like a fully articulating screen, but it can only flip out straight in front of you for vlogging or with the screen back towards the camera. You can't actually articulate it for shooting overhead or lower, anything like that. In terms of picture quality, it's really bad. There's no other way to put it. And we have a fixed lens here, although it says you can have a 16 times digital zoom with it. Fairly wide angle on that, but there is just no detail. Even when you're shooting in 4K, just the compression is completely knocking all of that out. And with such a small sensor, you wouldn't think rolling shutter would be a big issue, but it is an incredible amount of jello on this, which is exacerbated by the fact that there is no stabilization on it, despite what that AliExpress listing might lead you to believe. And in low light, this is the worst thing that I have ever laid my eyes on. The other thing is, when you're recording in video mode, this camera always has autofocus enabled, and it is constantly drifting. Even though it's such a small sensor with a wide angle lens, you know, it should just be like pretty much everything a foot in front to infinity will be in focus, but the camera just constantly wants to go to its minimum focus and just sit there and wobble back and forth. Doing a long walk and talk like this, I'm like, it is gonna eventually find Chris. But you can see, even though it gets close, it never quite reaches it, and it's absolutely maddening with this that I can't override the focus. But hey, at least this thing has a mic jack, so audio should be okay. No, absolutely not. There is only one audio setting in the menu, which is sound on and off, and at its default settings, it just constantly runs the mics way too hot. I mean, you can hear the sound that comes out of the camera.
So again, really struggling. It's got this locking collar, which is supposed to lock the zoom, but even when
So the only reliable option was to do external sound sync, but also this records at 30.3 frames per second, so you're not going to have any luck syncing it with any other devices. So should anyone plunk down money for the NBD 4K vlogging camera? Absolutely not. Save that money and just go throw it at like an old DSLR or an older GoPro or something like that. It's going to give you way better image quality and be a vastly less frustrating experience. I mean, the toughest thing with this is I just don't have the vocabulary to tell you how much this camera truly sucks. The one good thing is this is the last time you're ever going to have to look at footage recorded on this absolute piece of hot garbage camera. But I'm very curious, what is the worst piece of photographic equipment that any of you have ever used? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe for more PetaPixel stuff. But also check out our podcast. You can watch it right here on the channel, or just search for PetaPixel Podcast on all of your favorite podcasting apps. Thank you for enduring this footage. We will see you all next week with more on PetaPixel.